Well, folks, winter has come, the game has been played, the throne has been won, and it's still kinda all Joffrey's fault. Let's get started. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello, homies. Welcome to Thumb Together TV. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 6, The Iron Throne Together. The last piece of the puzzle is here. Game of Thrones is over. Now, when we're looking back at the series overall, there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about and, essays and essays worth of crap that I could be like, oh, look, don't you think this was interesting? Or don't you think this could have been better? Blah, 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 blah. There's lots of that I could be throwing out there. But that's not what today is for. Today is just for the finale. It's just for that last episode. I just want to talk about that, how it made me feel, how it didn't make me feel, how it made you feel, how it made Michael Jackson feel, the way you made him feel. Come on, because I'm sure he has something to say about it too. So we're going to just zero in strictly on that finale and see what makes it tick. Now, as usual, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. All right, let's dive right in. So the aftermath of that great battle at King's Landing was dealt with fairly quickly. We see that the Unsullied and the Dothraki are just some bloodlusty kind of folks, and they're just happy to kill whoever Daenerys points them at, and she's all like, yeah, we're gonna free lots of folks, aren't we, everybody? Wink, wink. And all her soldiers are like, yeah, wink, 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 wink. But of course, Tyrion and Jon and the others are not all too thrilled with her. And Tyrion has that beautiful moment where he rips off his Hand of the King badge and throws it down the steps, and he's not having it anymore. Tyrion has been just this great moral compass throughout the show. Even way back in season 1 when he was just this debaucheristic little guy who just ran around visiting whorehouses and doing things. He was part of the Lannisters, so we assumed that he was kind of sinister in that regard. But no, Tyrion has always had the right thing in front of him, and he would only ever move towards the right thing. And it was kind of great to see that he never lost sight of that. In fact, that he only became more in tune with his own moral compass. And he, to a point where it's at his own detriment because he is denouncing Daenerys right in front of her. She's not too thrilled with that. Speaking of which, how friggin' gorgeous was that scene where Daenerys walks out of that archway and the dragon is behind her and his wings just kind of pop out and it looks like they're her wings because it's symbolism, baby. Because she's mad now and she's kind of the villain too, so she's got these demon wings going on. Now, even though this was an extra long episode, it was an hour and a half, it still reached its climax fairly early on. Jon walks into that throne room and Daenerys is all like, ooh, I finally got my pretty chair. I'm going to sit in this chair. I'm going to rule some folks from this chair. Maybe put some taxes into effect at some point. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. Jon, come here, sit in the chair with me. Isn't this neat? And Jon's like, no, it's not neat. Those bodies in the street, that was the farthest thing from neat, baby. And for a brief moment, I actually thought Jon was going to give in to his love/lust for this woman, because wouldn't we all give in to our love/lust of Emilia Clarke? Damn. But regardless, I thought he was going to give in and join her on her bloody crusade, and then they were going to have to deal with Jon and Daenerys. For a split second, that's just what went through my head, but it works out better this way that, he dispatches her pretty quickly. I think it's barely 25 minutes into the episode where Jon just plunges that dagger into Daenerys' heart and ends it right then and there. And that was a sad one for me. That really hit me because I've loved Daenerys since day one, and to see her just kind of shocked and hurt that this man she loved would do that, and she, falls back and she's got the blood coming out of her nose and her mouth, and poor Miss Targaryen hits the floor and never gets the chance to be queen after all. Now, from what I've been reading online, a lot of people found that shocking. A lot of people were like, whoa, why is it so soon? We got rid of Daenerys so fast. But that, I think, is absolutely necessary. You need this. You need pretty much an hour of wrap-up. You need an hour of epilogue, because guess what? This is 9 years worth of story. This is dozens of characters across dozens of kingdoms. There's so much plot in Game of Thrones. There's so much plot. You need that 45 minutes to an hour of wrap-up time. You need that council scene with Tyrion and all the lords and ladies of the realm. You need that shit to get to the end. You need to have that present. You can't just have the whole episode be, we gotta stop Daenerys now, and then 5 minutes before credits roll, they finally stop Daenerys. Because in storytelling, there's this thing called a rising action, a climax, and a falling action. If you don't have a falling action, your movie or story or book feels very rushed. It does not jive well with how a story should be told. You want an example of something without a falling action so you can see how horrible it is? Watch like Transformers 3, okay? The good robots kill the bad robots, and then like 5 seconds later, credits, directed by Michael Bay, Linkin Park song, everybody's happy. No, that's not how you do it. That is a horrible way to tell a story. So Game of Thrones needed, especially because of how dense it is, it needed as much time as possible to wrap up all the loose ends. So it was a good thing that Jon stabbed Daenerys in the heart when he did. Because if they'd made us wait till the end of the episode to do that, I would not have been a happy camper. I would have been a perturbed camper. That is the worst kind of camper. How do I feel about Bran taking the Iron Throne? I don't know yet. Bran seems like he would be a good leader because he's got the knowledge, he knows what's going on, but a leader has to care, and if a man doesn't care about everything, then I don't know what that reign is going to be like. Is it going to be like somebody rushes into the throne room and is like, King Bran, oh my god, there's a monster and it's destroying the town, what should we do? And King Bran's like, I don't know. You'll all figure it out eventually. Bye. That would get awkward at Christmas parties and whatnot. Granted, when the offer was made to Bran, from that point on in this episode, he smiled more than he has ever smiled since like the first season before he was crippled. For the past like 7 seasons, minus the one that he wasn't in, the dude has just been like, I'm really grim about everything. Life sucks. So to see him kind of smile and be jovial, and he seems content, and he's like, oh, hello, my council of wise people. Let's run a kingdom today. Let's see how that goes for us. What could go wrong? At least he seems like he's digging it. It seems like he's got a purpose. So maybe that's what he needed. Maybe that's what the character needed to find happiness. In which case, if Bran needed this to find happiness, then yes, I am glad Bran took the Iron Throne. Because, yeah, dozens of people will talk about, strategically, it should have been Tyrion, it should have been Sansa. And I agree, they're probably really good rulers, too. Sansa and Tyrion can probably rule the hell out of a kingdom. I would vote for them. But if it's a matter of personal arc, if it's a matter of the story arc of Brandon Stark and giving him a happy ending, then yes, put him on the Iron Throne. Give that kid a happy ending, because that kid has had a shit show of a life these past 8 years, and it's nice to see him finally get something nice out of it. Tyrion's still happy because he gets to be Hand. He doesn't want to be king. He's fine being the Hand. Sansa seems happy. I don't know. Sansa doesn't really seem happy about anything these days, but the fact that she's queen in the north, she's ruling Winterfell, she gets what she always wanted. She always wanted to be a regal lady who wears pretty dresses and has people bow to her. Well, that's exactly what's going on. And she's an intelligent woman, so she can actually rule capably. Winterfell's in good hands. And the rest of the kingdoms are in good hands. Sounds like a win to me. What do I think of Arya's ending? Fantastic, as far as I'm concerned. That's exactly what I think a lot of us pictured for her. She just hops on a boat and she takes off. That's it. It's Arya of the Caribbean, the Curse of the Black Pearl. She's going to go off. She's going to find some adventures, maybe fight a kraken. I don't know. I don't know what's out there. I can't wait to see what's out there. One of those spin-offs you're working on HBO. Better be Maisie Williams on that boat. One of the most emotionally beautiful scenes for me in this whole finale was the scene with Brienne of Tarth, where she goes into the Red Keep, she finds the lore of all the knights of the Seven Kingdoms, and she essentially just updates Jaime Lannister's Wikipedia page and makes it a bit more coherent and accurate. Jaime's another character who, was there since day one, and we saw this crazy character arc that this man went through, from becoming essentially like one of the most hated villains on the show to becoming a hero, to losing his hand, all these ups and downs and twists and turns that he took, to have Brienne sit down and open up that giant-ass book and just be like, well, this is the Jaime Lannister I knew, and then finish it off with that beautiful sentence, he died protecting his queen. Period. Right in the feels. Right in the damn feels. What do I think of Jon's ending? kind of baffling, to be honest. Okay, they send him to the wall to be part of the Night's Watch again. A, is there still a Night's Watch? What are they watching? The White Walkers are supposed to be all dead. And B, he goes to the wall only to immediately follow Tormund up into the north with the wildlings. So is he at the wall, or is he just doing his own thing now? That was very baffling, and the fact that they ended on that was even more so. But okay, that's not what you want to hear about, right? You're all here for the same reason, because guess what? Apparently, a lot of people hate Season 8 of Game of Thrones, because nobody likes to hate things more than the fans of that very same thing. Just ask Star Wars fans. So if you hated Game of Thrones Season 8 with a passion and you want to be validated and you want to come here and hear me say how much I hate it too, and then we can be hate buddies, I got some bad news for you. I don't hate Season 8. Is it my favorite season? Nope. Was this finale my favorite finale? Nope. Was it my favorite episode of the season? Nope. But I'm not vehemently, spitting venom at this season and signing petitions and all that shit. I'm sorry, but Season 8 was not that bad. However, no, come back. Don't walk away. Let's talk about this. I like to be constructive with my criticism because that's just how I roll. So how could this finale have been better in this guy's opinion? Well, baffling Jon Snow ending notwithstanding, I think I would have done this. I gave it some thought, I ruminated on it, and I thought, what was this finale missing? I know the answer now. I think what this finale was missing was the episode before it. With hindsight now, knowing what happens in the story, if I was calling the shots at HBO, or if I was, Benioff or Weiss or something, I would have pushed for them to do this. You take last week's episode, The Bells, you take last night's finale, The Iron Throne, stick them together, 3 hours long, that's your finale. Because here's the thing, a finale should be this big, fist-pumping event that people are talking about for months and years to come. It should blow the doors off the movie theaters. It should blow my hair back and my clothes off. It should be insane. This finale was mostly cleanup. It was mostly epilogue. It was mostly the quieter moments. And that's fine, but it doesn't feel fine for a series finale. It's like they gave us just all of the epilogue as this final episode, and I think that disappointed a lot of people. Look back last week at The Bells, at the whole Battle of King's Landing, where you have the death of pretty much your major villain, Cersei Lannister. You have the big Clegane Bowl, where the Mountain and the Hound finally go at it. We've been waiting to see that for 8 years. You have all these great giant moments that were there last week. That feels like a finale, doesn't it? That feels like the kind of thing where, another show would have been like, this is the last episode, here's this, and people would have been losing their minds. Last week when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, and we're not even done yet. There's still one more. However, that final episode was just sort of the tail end of that. It was the PS of this giant, crazy, epic letter that we just received. And having the postscript as your finale, not a bad choice, but a weaker choice. At least in this guy's opinion. So now that I have the gift of hindsight, looking back at that, I would have 100% stuck those episodes together. Boom. There's your finale, baby. Have fun. I think the finale's reception would have been much better than it was, because a lot of the reception last night was kind of like, that's the end? And for the most part, I kind of agree with that reception. When it cut to black, I was thinking to myself, that's it, huh? That's how we're gonna go out on this. We're gonna go out on Jon just walking through the trees with the wildlings, huh? That's an odd choice. So even if they'd kept that odd choice, I think that blow would have been softened if we had just spent, the last 3 hours watching this ginormous spectacle. So yeah, in the end, it is very sad to see that this show is no longer going to be making waves. I still remember when it was first coming out, and I just happened to catch a promo of it on HBO when I was watching like Boardwalk Empire or something. And I was like, oh wow, they're making a show about a fantasy book. That should be kind of neat. All of a sudden, by the end of that first season, it became the biggest television show on the planet and has remained so for 9 straight years. That is one hell of an accomplishment. And whether you love or hate Season 8, you can't deny just how amazing how lightning in a bottle amazing that accomplishment is. So I don't wear hats because my hair is bad enough as it is. I don't need some stuff messing it up. But if I had one, I would be tipping it to David Benioff, D.B. Weiss, all the people behind Game of Thrones, all the people behind this fantastic show that has kept us entertained for 8 years. Thank you so much for making something so great. Thank you, George R.R. Martin, for telling such an interesting story. Now, get cracking on those books, George. We're not getting any younger here. Those are my thoughts on the finale. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm Andrew Fantasia. I'll see you here next time, and until then, adios.